Hello, 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 and welcome to Retire by Investing. This is RC with another comprehensive market review. And coming in just to kind of let you guys know again, there's been a lot of conflicting things over the past few weeks. But this time, I feel like this is pretty much confirming what's probably going to happen. In the market, we theoretically had like a breakout in this area. So we had Monday, red, and then green, and then breakout of this area, which was still theoretically defined as a chop area here. Just because we haven't broken above like 700 or 697, and 675 is kind of like this marker right here, right? So of the area that if we break below this, it's pretty much like pack it up at this point. So looking at it now, if we basically tried to break out, we stabilized above, and then we gapped down the next day and tried to retest. But theoretically, we are still below declining moving averages, which is not something that this is not something that you would like to be in when markets are like this. You can start to see like the EMAs, they starting to basically get lower, 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 lower. And we're at the verge now that if this starts to break down from here, it's just not a pretty picture going into that. Even though there are selective things in the market, at the very beginning of the week, or sorry, I would say on Tuesday, we had around like 98 stocks in the watch list that were actually meeting criteria. By the end of yesterday, it was like 31, which is not a good sign at all. So there's some underlying weakness that's happening. And what you could theoretically put together from this chart in general is that there's going to be a lower high at this point now, which is definitive, because this is now a 2-day base where we tried to break above and we couldn't break above, and then now we're below this area. So really, really scary per se, but I'm not saying that like everything has gone down and we're gonna like for sure crash or whatever it is, but like the thesis is above 697 we're bullish, above below 675 we are bearish at that point. But you have to prepare for both scenarios because of the war situation. But even with the war situation, I was already talking about like there was volatility that was possibly coming, and I didn't know exactly what was going to happen in the near future. But obviously, with the news that's coming out, I'm pretty sure Monday the volatility is going to be breaking out, and so that could push stocks in a different direction. And I think majority of people need to be positioned for that and just protect your downside. If you had any new positions, be careful. That's really all I can really say to you at this point. When we come back to the Qs, again, we broke above. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we broke above in this area, had this base right here, like a 4-day base. So, and then basically broke back down, broke back up, got back up, no follow through, broke back down, and now we're below again. And this seems to be the area now, the 615 area. So again, for tech, it's not really looking that great. And also QQQE, there are some areas here, which is really, really nice. And I had thought about this because of the fact that there are stocks that are doing really well right now. The other thing that I could say though is that even in a weak market right now, it's going to be very, very hard to play this. So this is going to be very, very selective in terms of all the stocks that you play. There are some really good stocks that have relative strength. When you look at this, there's a different picture in play, and I really want you guys to really know that select stocks in this market are really good to be buying, but in a shit environment, you just have to be very cautious in terms of how much you're positioning and what your bias is on that point. So for certain stocks, that's why you'll see this picture here. But in my opinion, if you have any profits, take them quicker for sure. For the RSP, we're breaking out, but then you have to understand that these are other sectors like precious metals, biotechs, oil, energy, right? Like these are the stocks that are in play right now that are having a really significant impact versus growth. And that SPY G versus the SPY V, you can tell that there's significant value where money is being placed. So just be careful. I don't think growth is where you really want to be right now. I've been saying this for quite some time, but I really believe that, this is kind of what's happening. But another thing to note too, when you're looking at this chart, is that we haven't broke above this area, which is this 59.58 area. Even though the RSP is at this area, there could be some underlying distribution that's happening. So just be careful now. As far as that IWM, we are now below. It's holding well, but again, we don't know if we're gonna continue here. We can eventually break down. MDY is doing pretty well. Failed resistance at right here, gap down, held it. The real question is, do we break down from here? We don't know, and we'll figure that out. Now, the biggest thing that I've been talking about for weeks, and when I was talking about, like, you could check all the videos that I've been talking about this, that there was something pending about this picture here. And it is that the VIX was that, or it was that the VIX was pretty much putting in higher lows and compressing these MAs together. And when you have compression again, when you have compression of MAs, this is not the prettiest picture. They get above, you can basically get a higher low, and then, it breaks out. Right. Eventually, these things eventually happen. So, you're looking at like the past of like how this goes. Like, there you go. There's one right there in August of 2024, which was like, I forgot exactly, but I remember that. It was pretty crazy, August. You also had April, and you have some of these other ones. But this is looking like a pretty significant chart. But this is a little bit different because you have way more compression in this area than you've ever had in a while. And I'm wondering, do we get like another 2020? But if that does happen where we get another 2020, a lot of people will start trying to buy dips on things, and the market's not ready to do that. So there'll be significant sell-offs and stuff like that. So just be careful out there. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Take care. Peace.